It brings me no joy to deliver some dire news, and that is that an appeals court in Washington, D.C. has temporarily allowed Trump to continue construction on his White House ballroom. The most recent ruling we covered was essentially putting the entire project on hold until they got congressional approval, which I think was the most reasonable option. It's not saying you can't do it, it's saying you need congressional approval before, I mean, you already demolished the East Wing, but before you go any further. Let's get into the article here. Yes, it's Fox News, and yes, we will be reading the comments, and yes, I will probably lose my mind. Anyways, appeals court lets Trump resume White House ballroom construction, seeks lower court clarity. A federal appeals court in Washington, D.C. on Saturday cleared the way for President Donald Trump to temporarily resume construction of his planned White House ballroom, granting a near-term win to the administration as it pushes forward with the nearly $400 million project. U.S. District Judge Richard Leon, a George W. Bush appointee in March, issued a preliminary injunction blocking construction of the ballroom. And we know it doesn't matter if he was a George Bush appointee. They are now they're just now a radical left communist, because that's, unfortunately, if you're a judge and you rule against Trump, then you're just a radical left deranged lunatic, according to Republicans and Trump himself. Anyways, let's see. He said the government had not shown it had clear authorization to replace parts of the East Wing with a privately funded structure, so without congressional approval, which we'll get into that more at the end about the private funding behind it. Leon's order paused most construction work on the ballroom, though he allowed activity tied to the White House security concerns and briefly delayed enforcement of his ruling until mid-April to give the administration time to appeal the case to a higher court. By the way, the security concerns are literally because Trump wants to build a giant military complex under the ballroom. Yeah, that's quite literally it. Such national security. You already have a bunker. All right. This is not some emergency national security situation, but Trump loves invoking national security and, things like that. The Trump administration quickly asked the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit to intervene, arguing that the project is critical to the safety and security of the president, his family, and the White House staff. Maybe you shouldn't have you considered just not tearing down the East Wing? Maybe you shouldn't have done that if you're so concerned about your security. Specifically, the judges asked Leon to clarify whether stopping the project would harm national security, as the Trump administration claims. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. They still have a bunker under there. Even if they didn't, it's not a national security issue. Okay, I'm sorry, but I could give a damn about you or your family. I am sorry, but I don't give a damn. The appeals court also paused Leon's order through April 17th, giving the Trump administration time to ask the Supreme Court for emergency intervention if it chooses. For now, the case will return to the district court for further explanation. Trump first announced plans for the 90,000 square foot ballroom in July, initially estimating the cost at around $200 million. He said the project would be funded 100% by me and some friends of mine. I'll get to it at the end. Is that supposed to make it okay? This is the White House we're talking about. Let's get to the comments. And of course, when I thought for a while there, Fox News commenters were starting to wake up and realize that this administration is just corrupt, fraudulent, has been lying to their faces and treating them like idiots since day one. Yeah, that turned around real quick. They fell in line like good little soldiers they are. Other presidents have done construction projects in the White House. It has never been a problem until President Trump decided to do a beautiful ballroom. These people act like they're going to be invited to the ballroom. Buddy, you probably make $13 an hour. What are you talking about? Maybe you should be more concerned about your material conditions and the material conditions of your loved ones and pushing for policies that impact that positively. The gas prices are high, but this is temporary. They were much higher under sleepy Joe Biden with a 9% inflation rate. President Trump has realistically decided to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons and the long-range missiles capacity to deliver them. Other presidents kicked this dangerous can down the road for decades. Leftist judges continue to try to shut down President Trump at every opportunity. Enough already. We finally have a president who's doing the heavy lifting. So stop with the complaining. I hate these people. Their only opposition is purely political. Both sides have wanted a ballroom in the White House for decades, and now that it is being funded privately, they can get it. If the Dems do not like the ballroom, they can always set up their tent when it's their turn. Guaranteed they will not hesitate to use the ballroom next time they have the White House. I mean, obviously they're going to use it if it's there. If it were me, I'd freaking tear it down again. And restore the East Wing to what it was. Having a new ballroom is infinitely better than pitching tents and having porta potties for the guests at official functions. By the way, it's not costing us taxpayers one dime to build. Oh, you're so wrong. We'll talk about that here in a moment. It's totally embarrassing that the most powerful country on earth uses pop-up tents and porta potties for grand receptions. Is Trump the only one who has pride for our country? It's free, and our taxpayers don't have to pay for it. That's a lie. It's amusing that the Democrats and their minions, for once, are against something that's free. These people, like, IQ of a freaking squirrel, man. Like, some of the dumbest people I've ever, I've just, wow. Anyways, I wanted to pull this up real quick. I just wanted to touch on Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2 of the Constitution. I know that's not a great defense anymore against Republicans because they just don't care about the Constitution, or they don't know how to read, or both. Clause 2, territory and other property. The Congress shall have power to dispose of and make all needful rules and regulations respecting the territory or other property belonging to the United States, and nothing in this Constitution shall be so constructed, constructions on my mind, construed as to prejudice any claims of the United States or any other particular state. Quite simply, you don't have the authority. Like minor renovations are fine. Like unfortunately, the whole gilding you did where someone like pissed all over the Oval Office, that's fine. What did they get mad at Obama for? Didn't he like install a basketball court or something? Like that is fine. There is a huge difference between the actions that previous presidents have done versus tearing down the entire historic Eastern Wing of the freaking White House. If you're going that far, it's not my opinion. It's just the law. You need congressional approval. Remember, folks, as much as they say it will be funded by private donors and not the taxpayers. Do you think they are going to pay? Do you think they're going to pay for the continued maintenance, upkeep, additional staffing, security, utilities for decades to come? Are they going to keep paying those costs? Or is it going to be a taxpayer? Last time I checked, there's no legally binding document out there that binds these people to any of this, even the initial construction cost, let alone what I just mentioned. There's no paper trail for any of this. Like, it's all so freaking sketchy, man. Like, there is no precedent for this. We've never had, of course, we don't have a law that specifically says, the president of the United States can't demolish the historic East Wing of the White House, and they can't build a ballroom on it that's completely funded by private donors. Like, I'm sorry, but like, maybe that was just a small oversight. It doesn't make it legal, okay? The Constitution is clear, and you are violating it. And my second point is, even if they are paying for it, you think that's okay? For billionaires to be funding their own private ballroom on one of the most prestigious grounds and one of what's supposed to be one of the most prestigious buildings in the United States, so they can live in luxury when they come to DC to give even more money to our politicians so they can enact even more policies that hurt the working class. Like, another thing that conservatives and like people who support this aren't like putting together, and I don't think they'll ever put it together, but the people who are funding this ballroom, it's going to be people like Jeff Bezos. It's going to be people like Elon Musk, the same billionaires who consistently lay off employees every year despite immense profits, the same billionaires who lobby against wage increases, union rights, having more paid time off, like for paid family leave. It's like, I'm sorry, man, but even if like, I don't think like if you want to build a ballroom, that's one thing. But one, you need congressional approval, and two, I'm sorry, but I would rather have the taxpayers fund it than a bunch of shady private donors. Like, there's just something so dystopian about a bunch of billionaires funding an expansion to the White House. That just, with no like paper trail, congressional authority approval or anything, it's so dystopian, man, and I wish more people would understand that. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.